Like every Saturday morning cartoon we can recall as children, the episode opens with a group of people disobeying divine warnings and doing something foolish. When some construction workers find some vengeful, disembodied heads that are looking for their exorcist in the city, it's a tale straight out of a box. Of course, they were exorcised in the Meiji-era, so they'll settle with Inoue, Ushio's buddy who resembles her exactly. It's difficult to avoid giving the entire story away in the review with a narrative so straightforward. The issue is that there isn't a single redeeming characteristic. The evil is simply too well defined. The complexity of the antagonist, who had a really admirable motivation for protecting his daughter, even though the goals did not justify the means, was what made episode 3 so exceptional. Our victim was well developed, and we were interested in learning more about her life. It's unclear whether Inoue is related to the Meiji-era lady she's been persecuted for. There is action, but no discernible character drama. Nothing new is revealed about Inoue, and we have little interest in the floating heads either. Not only is the idea from the 1990s, but the cinematography is also from that era. We're thinking in particular of the sequences where Tora goes berserk against the floating heads and his frantic motions are shown in wide brushstrokes. It's endearing how many scenes look to have been manually painted line by line. These are effective 90s throwbacks, as are the exaggerated facial expressions that all characters display at times of intense emotion. Other options like panning the camera over still photos are less appealing. This program occasionally comes off as cheap, since it combines certain 90s animation methods with more contemporary digital ones. Ushio and Tora themselves are the episode saviors. These two are never going to see eye to eye, and the show's central connection is formed by their amusing quarrels and comical miscommunications. Slapstick comedy continues to be influenced by Tora's preoccupation with modernity. About the automobiles in the gridlock, he remarks, "What is this horde of irritating things?" Tora is perplexed by his vacation to the metropolis, and my one criticism is that the program doesn't need to explicitly state the punchlines for viewers in the text. We already know that Tora is totally out of his element. This time, Ushio plays second fiddle. Yet, he still manages to be likable, dependable, and contrite when necessary. Since they've learned that neither of them is stronger than the other, there's always a fascinating tension in their minds. Hayu, the exorcist, is introduced as a new character at the beginning of the episode. Hayu is a native of Hong Kong, is enigmatic and violent, yet seems to have noble intentions. He's a cold-blooded and skilled assassin when it comes to yokai that devour children. His methods are overly ruthless, even when he's eliminating monsters for a very noble purpose, especially when compared to Ushio. The moral core of the program, because of his many abilities, including his seductive stare, Hayu will undoubtedly re-emerge. Ushio, meanwhile, is dealing with his own issues. Every morning, Tora still tries to kill him while he's sleeping, and things take a turn when Tora leaves him with a disfiguring facial scar. I'm sure I'm not the only one who wonders why the bad guys don't just launch an assault during the transformation procedure, so it's excellent that Tora is taking advantage of the split second before Ushio changes. But there's another issue that stays unresolved and annoys us. Why does Tora appear on TV if people can't see him? When Hayu determines that Tora is the villain he wants to get revenge on, technology is once again Tora's nemesis. How likely are you to defend a monster who keeps attempting to murder you every day, even though Ushio knows better? This show's narrative centers on whether Ushio can maintain his moral integrity while betraying Tora, which seems quite unlike Ushio to do. Ushio had a beautiful moment in class as he was ready to receive his undoubtedly terrible report card, but was too preoccupied with his thoughts to pay attention to the teacher. Bad grades are the worst thing a middle schooler like Ushio should have to cope with, which only makes his moral quandary appear more compelling in perspective. What makes this episode so much more successful than the forgettable episode 4? The action and the cinematography, which have been pleasingly consistent from the start, are not the problem. We now deal with a world of more sophisticated evils, which has improved the program. All three of Ushio, Tora, and Hayu are capable of doing both good and evil things, and they are aware of this. When Hayu starts to feel bad about what he did to Ushio and Tora, he remarks of Ushio's beast spear. I could be just another monster that was pulled to that spear. All three of them have moral gray areas, which makes them complex and intriguing. Our video ends here. If you enjoyed watching this video, then please make sure to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more such amazing videos like this one.